Hello and welcome to UC Today. I'm Senior Editor Tom Wright, and today I'm joined by Graeme Watt, who is CEO of IT provider Softcat. How's it going, Graeme?
Really well, Tom, and thanks for having me on today.
Thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to start with quite a broad question. In terms of technology, the kind of explosion in remote working and more recently hybrid working, has that taken Softcat into any kind of new areas from a technology perspective?
It's a good question, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily taken us into any new areas. I mean, collaboration has taken off enormously, as you point out, and we have a number of business lines, quite a broad range of technology we sell at Softcat anyway, and collaboration was actually one of those. So the foundations were there, but I think what we've been able to do is build some clear messaging and about our capabilities. We've grown our capabilities. We've really sort of taken what was something that was quite small and relatively in its infancy, and we've managed to kind of build it out and make it a lot more robust, driven by the demand in the pandemic. So, and help customers move from kind of survival modes to thrival mode, if there is such a word, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I think we were fortunate enough to have something in place that we've both benefited from the demand in the pandemic, and we've managed to kind of develop it further as well. I mean, one good example would be around the device themselves, the devices that you and I are using here now. We weren't really a very big player on the end user device. We sold them, and we sold them as part of solutions, but we've now established a much more robust end user device setup so that we can lifecycle management through our customers, so we can deliver to thousands of different locations for people, whether that's in a work environment or home environment. We can manage the safe disposal of those machines when they come up for renewal. We can get them to people when they're down, or when the new starters come and they've slightly kind of underestimated how many devices they need. So that whole piece, which is obviously a key enabler for the conversation you and I are having now, we've really developed our offerings there quite substantially.
I think most, if not all, collaboration vendors have done quite well over the last year to 18 months, but one in particular you'd probably have to highlight is Zoom. And I saw that you guys were awarded Zoom UK Partner of the Year for last year. Probably quite an incredible year for them as well. What was that like working with them through that?
Well, a delight really, and well done Zoom for becoming this kind of generic name for video conferencing, for good and for bad. We hear great things about Zoom and the collaboration, but also that word Zoom fatigue seems to have kind of joined up together as well, and obviously nothing to do with Zoom. But so the relationship has been great. The way we work together, because of the circumstance of the pandemic, obviously jumped exponentially. And I think what was great about Zoom, not just the people and the relationships and the collaboration we had with them, was the technology just worked. It was very simple and easy and quick to deploy. Obviously, immediately following, lockdown, way back in March 2020 now, lots of long hours, and we were all working through an emergency phase to get customers and ourselves enabled, to be fair. And we've now enabled that relationship, or evolved that relationship, if you like, to focus on the next phase, as I talked about a second ago, that around return to office and how we support people in that kind of more hybrid working environment. But yeah, Zoom have been an absolute pleasure to work with, and hopefully they would say the same about Softcat.
And it's interesting to see the channel play from them as well. I think they recently signed up a distributor in the UK as well. What kind of sort of projects are you working on with them? Is it quite a lot around the rooms? I guess is quite a good one as well, quite an important one.
Yeah, it's the rooms, it's the desk, it's we're increasingly working with people like Zoom and other suppliers too, but we're increasingly working with them to work on, if you think that most meetings now going forwards are going to be hybrid meetings, there's going to be less and less meetings where everybody's remote, and there's going to be less and less meetings where everybody's in the office. So everything's going to be very much, you've got to assume that most things are hybrid. What we're starting to see is nits and challenges of, who who's prioritized their, putting their hand up, but you can't see that if you're in a room in an office. And, little bits that work brilliantly remotely, but don't work quite so well. And so we're working with them to kind of create this more seamless experience. And they're obviously all over that. They know what some of those challenges are, and they're developing their tools all the time. But I think that focus on the hybrid meeting, where some people are together in an office and not working off an end user device, I think that's really one of our key focuses. Yeah.
So you've obviously got the strong relationship with Zoom, and I think you recently became a premium Ring Central partner, and maybe an 8x8 partner, either just before the pandemic or at the start. Does this signal kind of an increased focus for Softcat in the UC and voice space?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. So I think we've been a little bit fortunate in a sense that we hadn't created the presence and the capabilities we wanted to a couple of years ago. So we made some changes. We brought in Reece Lawson, who was already working at Softcat. We gave him responsibility for the whole collaboration area. And then we worked with what we've invested quite heavily in, what we thought were, at the time, kind of more, I hope they wouldn't mind me saying this, more fledgling / sort of disruptive leader, but was also leaders in the field. And so we signed agreements with Zoom, as you point out, with Ring Central and 8x8. By the way, we just picked up an award with 8x8 as well as the global fastest growing partner. And we had a special award for Michaela, who works in our team, as Evangelist of the Year. So we're obviously getting quite a lot right. And they gave us the platform. So the timing, the fortunate piece was in the timing, not the fact that we'd identified collaboration as an important area and a relatively underperformer for us, but the fact that we signed up these key disruptive leaders and had a base with Cisco and Microsoft as well, to be fair, that's created an enormous opportunity for us to expand in a relatively short period of time. So I think the team has really, our team that support our collaboration efforts has tripled in the last 2 years. And we've really got ourselves into a much better position to be able to support our customers and to support our salespeople. And I think the other thing is, where we've been a little bit fortunate, is because we were relatively less well developed than we wanted to be on collaboration. There's less legacy systems and in place in our customers that we're dealing with, so they're not weighed down with how to modify or correct or change what they've got. This is all new to them, and I think that's given us significant freedom to deliver to the customer what they want.
You mentioned the customers a couple of times then. I know Softcat's got quite a broad customer base across both the private and public sector, so this is probably quite a tricky question, but what kind of demands are you seeing from them at the moment? And have their kind of demands of you as an IT partner changed over the last few months?
In a sense, not really. I think what we're seeing is that we've, as you've said, Tom, we've always been quite customer led, and we hear a lot about supplementing, collaboration capabilities with managing people in the office and managing anything from car parking to meeting rooms to hot desks, and you can manage well-being and you can manage what you want. So it's all becoming quite a increasingly complex and crowded area. But we've always been very customer led, so we're very conscious of the fact that if the customers are asking for it, then that's a good time to move. But if they're not asking for it, it's just a lot of hype and noise. Then we'll wait a little bit until our customers really see a strong need. And I think our customers are the same as us. I think we're all in a similar position. I don't think it really makes a big difference in the main as to whether you're a mid-market business, a larger perhaps enterprise business, or in the public sector. We're dealing at Softcat, we're dealing with people. And we're introducing a sort of flexible hybrid working environment. So we're dealing with people, we're dealing with different emotions and behaviors and different levels of excitement or anxiety about returning to the office. When a little bit related to what you talked about before, we've got to put some structure in place so that when people are in the office, they're getting the best out of the office, and when they're at home, they're getting the best out of their remote working. IT, as we're talking about now on this call, is very much an enabler. And the biggest challenge, as we've already pointed out, is that hybrid meeting environment. In some cases, people are talking quite extensively, probably a little bit less so at the Softcat, about the facilities. Are the facilities optimized to give that ability to collaborate more to people? We've got loads of offices inside our offices, if that makes sense. And so I think our offices are structured quite well for collaboration. And then there's lots of kind of the nits and grits about policies and legals and tax issues if people are wanting to work overseas and still do their job, from a different country, which we obviously need to look at as well. And user productivity. Our customers are very keen to, a lot of people talk about it's not about trust anymore. It's about giving people the tools to be productive. And you read and hear and see a lot of things about productivity rising quite significantly. I saw an article just the other day where a company had claimed it had increased productivity by 22%. Well, that's great, but at what cost and over what period of time will people be able to maintain that? Is still to be seen. So I think it's really there's a lot of things in the mix, and I think what our customers are experiencing is exactly the same as what we're experiencing. So in a way, we're able to help our customers because, to your earlier point, we do have so many customers. We're one of the advantages we've got in the industry is that we can bring together a lot of customer experiences. So when we're advising customers, we've got a lot of case studies and experiences we can share and play back to our customers. And that's also helpful for us as well as we start to think about what the hell are our policies going to be and how we're going to implement over time. It really helps to educate and inform us at Softcat too.
And you sort of touched on my next question there. Everyone kind of knows Softcat for its strong sense of culture, particularly in the office. And I know from previous conversations we've had, you were having quite open conversations with your employees about how you kind of build out the hybrid working structure.
Yes.
Where kind of are you with that now, and what do you think that will be looking like?
Two great questions. Where are we now, and what will it look like? I mean, the honest answer is on the second question, at least, is I don't know. I mean, and I don't think any of us know. We're all having little guesses about what things might look like. What I do know is that, we genuinely want people to get the best of both worlds. But that's, of course, not easy. You speak to and you hear and read things that people want to be remote working, but they want to be, maybe more than their businesses would like, but they also want to enjoy the advantages of being with colleagues. And it's a paradox. And, between us all, we're going to have to kind of resolve it. Our policy, to answer your question, is and it's shifted. I can speak very personally that I was maybe, in the early days of forming our policy, I was probably a little bit old school and pushing the mantra of the office a little bit, perhaps too hard. And we've all shifted, and we've kind of declared this flexible hybrid working for our staff. And I think it's not a time to put in hard rules, because I think we're all learning as we go along. And we've said, look, let's make sure that whatever we do, it's right for the business and it's right for us as colleagues in the business. Let's make sure that, you touched on culture there, let's make sure it doesn't have a detrimental impact on our culture or our ability to operate effectively. And as long as those are our caveats, and if things do come to light that do have a negative impact on us in that way, then we'll need to stop and reset. But we're very much about learning as we go along. We're very much about doing it together. I don't think it's a time to put in firm rules, because we don't know what those firm rules should be. So I think most people my sense will be in the office somewhere between 2 and 4 days. I can't see many people being in 5 days a week. There will be some, of course, and I can't see many people wanting to be so disconnected from things going on in the office and in the company that they'd only want to be in the office kind of 1 day or less a week. But again, there'll be some of those too. But I think between 2 and 4 days is what I expect people to be touching and connecting with the office for at least some part of the day. And I think post-holiday, the summer holidays, which are just kind of here with us now, schools going back, more people being double jabbed, and hopefully the Delta variant impact on the wane, I think we'll start to see things coming back, and if I had to kind of talk, try and categorize our policy in terms of that transition of getting back to that environment that I just described to you, I think it's nudge and lead. We're going to nudge people back. We're not going to push them. We're going to encourage them back. We're going to create some reasons for people to be in the office, and we're going to show some leadership in doing that as well. And then how it pans out will be down to individuals, because as I've said, we've empowered people to with that flexibility, and we're asking them to show good judgment. So that might sound all a bit loosey-goosey to you, but I think it's quite a pragmatic way of dealing with a situation where none of us really know. I think we'll get to a good outcome. I'm pretty confident of that. And I think back to your cultural point, I think the culture won't be adversely impacted, because I think we all understand how important it is, and we won't let it. But I think it'll also help us come to the right decisions on how we move forward as well. So,
okay. And then my final question for you, to hopefully put you on the spot a little bit, is what are your priorities for the second half of the year, and what can we expect to see from Softcat throughout the rest of the year?
Really quite a lot of the same in a sense, and I think we've got to keep working on our portfolio to make sure it's relevant. So, we're increasingly, we just talked about collaboration and tripling our investment in the last couple of years. We'll continue to invest in the key areas. Our customers are telling us that security continues to be really important for them. Workspace continues to be really important for them, and data center and cloud. So we're going to continue to build offerings and offer technologies and services that encompass those areas. I think for me, continuing to drive share in the UK and grow at a premium to the market growth. We're quite confident the market's going to grow nicely. And I want to be taking share in new and existing customers and continue premium growth with a focus on the UK, but continuing also to build our presence in Ireland and continue to grow our multinational network globally, which is now extended to 6 different branches or subs. And I think the other key focus for us will be, we could get into more detail. We've got some nice areas that we specifically target in public sector around central government, defence and secure government, where we're currently underpenetrated, and we'd like to do more there. And then I think just ease of doing business is important to us as well. Did I mention cloud? I'm not sure if I mentioned cloud. We're definitely investing more heavily in cloud to bring together, if you like, our cloud offerings and those of our supplier partners to make it easier for people to consume and understand the benefits, the pros and cons of cloud in different situations. So we've brought in a cloud leader, a chap called Matt Larder, to head up our cloud initiatives there, which is very exciting. And then just ease of doing business is very important to us. So we'll be doing increasingly investing in tools and platforms and systems and processes to make us easier to do business with externally, but also inside the company as well. So we've got a project going on at the moment that's replacing our financial systems, and we're looking at further developments around ITSM. That will move at some point onto our CRM platform, and then our ECAT, our whole customer portal and platform for transactional but value, access to stock and availability and credit, and just the whole customer status, if you like, an opportunity through a single pane of glass. We'll be developing ECAT further to support our presence on cloud in terms of marketplace and marketplace aggregation as well. So there'd be some of the things that we're looking at. You've been in this business a long time, Tom, and reporting on it, and I have too. And there's always, we're never opportunity limited. It's always resource limited. So of course we'll be investing heavily, as we did during the pandemic, to make sure we've got the right skills and capabilities to support all of those areas I discussed and more. So I think very exciting times and lots going on, I would say.
Yeah, a lot going on as always, and we'll certainly be looking out for those announcements. Graeme, it's been great to have you on. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Tom. Great to catch up.
And thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and a share on social media, and we'll see you next time.